What do all our plugins have in common? It's the preset browser. At first glance, it may look like a simple directory of presets, but there's much more to it. It's a powerful utility that's well worth mastering. In this video, we'll walk you through all the aspects of the preset browser. Navigating your presets, keeping track of your favorites, smart folders, using the drag and drop functionality, file management, search, tagging, and much more. First off, to make sure we're on the same page, check if your UHE plugins are up to date. You can find the latest versions on our website. Go to the products page where you'll find download links for Mac OS, Windows, and Linux. For this video, we'll be looking at Diva, as it's a really popular synth, and it fits the screen nicely. If you own other UHE products, no problem. The instructions in this video apply to all our synths and effects alike. The preset browser is divided into three main sections. On the left, the directory browser lets you access the factory presets, user presets and sound sets, banks, and smart folders. Use your mouse wheel, touchpad, up and down keys, or the scroll bar to navigate the list. The center area lets you browse and load the presets in the selected folder. On the right is the preset info section, where you can find more in-depth information about the currently active preset. This is an extensive tutorial with a lot of information to be taken in. Feel free to use the chapter markers provided with this video. Let's take a closer look at the directory panel. The local and the user folders are physical folders and contain the actual preset files. The folders displayed here reflect the actual directory structure on your hard drive. The local root folder holds a selection of presets that best illustrate the capabilities of the plugin. Consider it a best of factory presets. They're duplicates copied over from the numbered subfolders. These contain the complete factory presets, sorted into subcategories. In some of our plugins, you'll find additional folders containing goodies such as templates or tips and tricks. A right-pointing arrow indicates a collapsed set of subfolders. Click on the arrow to open it. Next, the user folder is where you want to store your own creations. It's a good idea to keep your own presets separate from the factory presets, just to avoid confusion. When you install third-party sound sets, they too will be placed in the user folder. To locate the user folder on your computer, right-click it and select Open in Explorer or Open in Finder. Use this option to make physical backups of your files. Onto the smart folders. Whereas the local and the user folders contain physical preset files, the smart folders are dynamic. They contain the results of queries to the database, so their contents change accordingly, hence dynamic. Per default, the smart folders refer to the entire local and user directory trees. You can limit the scope of the smart folders by double-clicking on a subdirectory, thus restricting the reference data to that subdirectory, including all further subdirectories. Click on the X to remove the restriction. The search history stores the results of the 10 most recent searches. If you want to keep the results of a search, right-click and Save Search. The resulting entry will be stored under Saved Searches below. Clear the saved searches like so. Now, what is a bank? A bank is a smart folder that groups presets according to their origin. Generally, that would be either a sound set or the version number of a factory preset bank. Of course, you can also create your own banks. Simply drag and drop the desired presets onto the bank root folder. Enter a bank name at the prompt. It's important to know that a preset cannot belong to more than one bank at a time. To remove the bank attribute from a preset, you can either drag it to the No Bank entry, or right-click on the bank name and select Remove Presets from Bank. This is a good moment to mention that the plugin's Undo and Redo buttons don't work for changes in the browser, so make sure you really want to remove these from the bank. These presets aren't deleted, by the way. They just lose their bank name and show up in the No Bank Smart folder afterwards. The 8 color-coded favorites folders offer a neat way of keeping track of your favorite presets. You can only assign one favorite color to a preset at a time. You can clear the favorite status from all presets of a specific favorites category, like so. The Junk folder contains all presets previously marked as junk. If you don't want your junk presets to disappear from the browser, you can select the Show Junk option from the context menu. Junk presets will now show up at their original location. You can also globally remove the junk status from all presets in the context menu. Opening the Tags folder reveals subfolders of tags for each category and subcategory, feature, and character. Tags are metadata that make the sorting of presets easier. When you drop a preset into a tag folder, it will adopt the corresponding tag. You can remove all tags from a preset by dropping it onto the No Tags folder. The Author Smart folders sort all presets by their author names. That tag is added to a preset in the Save Context menu under Author. Once you've created your own Author Smart folder, you can drag and drop multiple presets onto that folder, and they will all be updated with your author tag accordingly. You can also create a new author by dragging one or several presets onto the author root folder. Enter a name and the preset will adopt it. Lastly, you can rename some types of smart folders: saved searches, banks, even author names. This change will be applied to all presets by that author. Let's look at the directory context menu in detail. Open it with a right-click. Do a refresh whenever you've moved, added, removed, or renamed folders or presets using the Explorer or Finder. Create New will create a new subfolder in the selected folder. That name can always be changed afterwards using Rename. Open in Explorer or Open in Finder will take you to the contents of the selected folder. If you keep Control or Option pressed while you're opening the context menu, you'll find the option has changed to Show in Explorer or Show in Finder respectively. It will now take you one level up the directory tree, highlighting the current preset folder rather than opening it. Move to Recycle Bin or Move to Trash gets rid of folders you wish to see removed from your browser. Remember, this action cannot be undone from within the plugin. Instead, go to your Recycle Bin and undo the deletion. Refresh the preset browser and the folder will reappear in the list. The bank, favorites, junk, and Author subfolders let you remove the corresponding tags from their presets. On OpenExpand 2 determines how many levels of subdirectories are opened when you refresh or reopen the browser. Choose an option between none and all levels. Hidden folders lets you filter out smart folders which you don't wish to be displayed. As we've already shown you, to make a search history smart folder permanent, right-click on it and select Save Search. The entry will be moved to the Saved Searches folder. The central area displays the presets in the current folder. Click to select and load a preset. Right-click to open the context menu. The functions displayed here can be applied to one or more presets. Add individual presets to your selection by clicking while holding down Alt on Windows or Command on the Mac. Or hold down Shift to add all presets within a specified area to your selection. Now for the individual functions. Mark as Favorite lets you assign the preset to one out of 8 color-coded favorite categories. You can change the favorite category anytime. Unmark will remove any favorite mark. Each preset can only be assigned one favorite tag at a time. As we've already shown you, the Favorites Smart Folder will let you keep track of all your different favorite presets at a glance. Copying, moving, or renaming your presets in the System File Browser will erase these favorite marks. That's why we recommend that you always perform such actions within the preset browser. Mark as Junk is, well, the opposite of favorites. A preset marked as junk will either still be visible in the browser, branded with a stop sign, or by deselecting the Show Junk option, it'll be hidden from view. You can unhide it if necessary. Next, Rename does just that. The next entry takes care of duplicating the selected preset. If Save Presets To is set to User Folder in the Preferences, Copy to User Folder creates a duplicate in the User Root folder. If this option is set to Selected Folder in the Preferences, this command is now labeled Duplicate and creates a copy in the current folder. Duplicates will be numbered incrementally to avoid accidental overwriting of presets. Show in Explorer or Show in Finder will take you to your default System File Browser, where you'll find the preset highlighted. Again, should you wish to back up individual preset files, this is how to find them. Convert To lets you convert presets into the format selected by right-clicking the Save button. Simply resaving a preset onto itself will update the timestamps of these preset files. If the plugin is NKS compatible, and if you're using the VST2 or VST3 version of it, you can save the preset in the NKS format as well. Copy and paste are pretty self-explanatory, right? Move to Recycle Bin or Trash moves the selected preset to your system trash. You can restore the preset file from your system trash, but then you'll have to manually refresh the browser. The preset will then reappear in its original location. Restore will revert the plugin to the state it was in when you opened the preset browser. So when you open the browser and load other presets, Restore will take you back to the preset that was originally loaded when opening the browser, including all changes that you've made. Let's take a closer look at the drag and drop functionality of the preset browser. You can drag any selection of presets to any folder in the directory panel. This will move the presets. Press and hold Control on Windows or Option on the Mac to copy instead. Favorites folders can be merged by dragging and dropping one folder onto another. This also works for the author folders. Tag folders are not merged when you drop one on top of the other. Instead, drag and drop here adds the respective tags to the presets being dragged and dropped. Here is what external drag and drop looks like on Windows. Within the same physical drive, drag and drop between Explorer and Preset Browser moves preset files. This can be overridden by holding Ctrl, which copies files. When executed across different physical drives, drag and drop copies. Likewise, on the Mac, drag and drop between Finder and Preset Browser moves presets, but only if executed on the same drive. Hold Option to make a copy instead. Between physical drives, files are copied. You can also drag and drop a Smart folder up into the User folder to create a physical copy of the Smart folder, including the contained presets. External drag and drop onto your Explorer or Finder lets you achieve the same goal, turning a Smart folder into a physical copy. Now, for one of the file browser's more obscure features. You can export the favorite attributes to a file called favorites.uhi-fav by pressing Shift while dragging and dropping the favorites root folder into your Explorer or Finder. Same goes for individual favorite folders. Holding Shift while dragging and dropping creates favorites files for the respective favorite category. It's a good idea to back up favorites from time to time as well, just in case the database gets corrupted. By the way, this drag and drop trick also works for the junk folder. You can re-import the junk or favorite status files into the appropriate folders to revert them to their previous state. You'll be prompted whether you'd like to overwrite the existing favorite marks or merge them with the ones being imported. By the way, you can exchange favorites and junk folders across platforms between Windows and Macintosh. Next up is the Preset Info panel to the right. This is where you'll find all the relevant metadata stored with your preset files, such as the folder where it's located, the bank it belongs to, and the name of the author. The description and usage text can be entered or edited when saving a preset. Categories, features, and character are tags that have been set for the current preset, which brings us to the next chapter, tagging. Tagging makes it easier to find presets by adding metadata to them. There are 3 different methods of adding or editing tags. First, right-click on the Save button and select Tag this patch. Under Category, you'll find the most elemental and widely used classes of instruments, each with their own subcategories to describe the preset in even greater detail. Features emphasizes the technical aspects of the preset. Character offers a set of mutually exclusive pairs of opposites. The second method of editing the tags is by right-clicking on the categories in the Preset Info field. Use the context menu to make your choices. And the third method is via dragging and dropping a preset onto the tag's Smart folders. You can remove all tags by dragging a preset onto the No Tags Smart folder. Move the cursor towards the bottom of the directory panel to scroll down. Create Search from Tags will find all presets containing the same set of category features and character tags. So how do we search for tags? Click on the Tags tab to open this view. The tags below the headlines, categories, features, and character are clickable. With each tag you click, you'll summon presets that match the selected tags. You can select multiple categories by holding down Alt on Windows or Command on the Mac. You can clear the category and subcategory combos by clicking on the X. The bottom row lets you sort out your favorites, which can be done in conjunction with the other tags, or independently of them, which is a neat way to keep track of all your favorite categories. The search field at the top left lets you search for a string of characters that are part of a preset name. The search also encompasses the author, the description, and the usage information of a preset. You can select a particular path for your search by double-clicking on a specific folder. Search results are now restricted to that folder. The little arrow button next to the search path moves the search path up one level with each click. Alternatively, you can use the context menu and directly select the desired higher level path. Reset the search path by clicking on the X. Search results will once again include all directories and subdirectories. You can limit the scope of the search to specific elements of the preset info by using the following operators, followed by a colon. To only search within the preset name, use name:pad. Now only presets whose name contains the word pad will be listed. The same goes for author. Desk, short for description. And use, short for usage. You can also use the logical operators and, or, and not between text elements. For example, searching for acoustic or upright yields presets whose name or preset info contains either acoustic or upright or both. You can also include tags in your search after any text items. Tags must be preceded by a hashtag. In this example, we're looking for any preset by the author Tasmodia belonging to the category Bass, subcategory Analog. The same result can be obtained by using the Tags tab instead. Simply search for the author Taz in the search field and add the desired tags by clicking on them. We could go on and on for ages about all kinds of sophisticated searches. Hey, aren't they fun? A few words about sound sets. We've already done an in-depth video about sound set installation, which we've linked in the show notes. Still, here are the basics. Most of our recent sound sets can be installed simply by dragging the soundset file ending with .uhi-soundset anywhere in the plugin. Another method is by clicking on the UHI badge in the top right and selecting Install Soundset. Simply browse to the location of the soundset file and install it. Installing presets stored in regular folders is straightforward. Drag the folder containing the presets onto the user root directory. Simple as that. The Preferences menu offers a couple of tweaks for the preset browser. Auto-versioning, when enabled, will add an incrementing number whenever you save a preset onto itself to avoid deleting an existing preset by accident. You can still force overwriting if you prefer by removing the number first. You will then be prompted again whether you would like to overwrite the existing preset. Overwrite will simply replace the previous version of the preset with the current one. Backup and save will also overwrite the preset. However, a copy of the previous version will be created with the extension BACK appended to the file name. Save Presets To lets you choose the default location where presets are to be stored. Selecting User Folder sends all saved presets to the user folder rather than to the currently selected folder. This setting helps separate your own creations from the factory presets. Scan on startup, when activated, causes all preset folders to be scanned when you open the first instance of the plugin upon opening your project. Deactivating this option can speed up the process of loading your plugin's preset browser, but it may also mean that you'll need to manually refresh your browser once in a while. It's also highly recommended to whitelist the plugin's data folder in your virus or malware scanner software, as this can speed up the scan process considerably. Okay, it's time to talk about a few pitfalls that you might encounter on your adventures with the preset browser. First, the plugin's undo function does not work with the preset browser. So, should you wish to revert an action, you'll have to undo it manually. If you happen to have misplaced a folder by accident, don't despair. It has not been deleted. Check the neighboring directories. If you want to change the default preset that's called up whenever you first load the plugin, here's how to do it. Once you've tweaked the preset that you'd like to be the default, press Save and name it Default. Make sure you save it to the local root directory, otherwise it won't work. The default preset is not visible in the preset browser, but that's for a reason. Now, whenever you load a new instance of the plugin, your custom default preset will be loaded. Are factory presets erased when you reinstall the plugin without ticking the preset box? On Windows, factory presets are erased since we've integrated an uninstaller to delete such data prior to installing an update. On the Mac, existing presets will not be deleted. What happens to user presets that are stored in the factory presets folder when you update the plugin? Presets created by the user and factory presets saved under a different name will not be harmed if you update the plugin. However, any edited factory presets saved under the original name and location will be replaced with the factory presets when you install an update. That's why we recommend that you always rename your edits of factory presets to avoid confusing them with the originals. So much for the preset browser. Don't forget to check out our user guides that come with all our plugins, where all of this and more is dealt with in detail. See you around. And happy browsing, as we say at UHE.